Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the rhythm of Chinese culture. And it's a rhythm that's really unique because it's shaped by not one, but two calendars. You've got the modern global clock, and then you've got this ancient lunar heartbeat. We're going to see how these two completely different systems work together.
I mean, think about it for a second. It's a huge question, right? How do you coordinate the lives of 1.4 billion people? It's so much more than just, scheduling days off work. It's really about weaving together national identity, ancient tradition, and those absolutely unbreakable bonds of family.
And the answer? Well, it lies in this fascinating duality. You see, China basically operates on two parallel calendars at the same time. On one hand, you have the Gregorian system, the one we all know, for business and official life. But on the other, you have the ancient, story-rich lunar calendar, which is really the nation's cultural soul. Each one tells a totally different part of the story.
So let's get into it. Let's explore how these two systems intertwine to create this really unique rhythm of celebration and just daily life throughout the Chinese year.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at the civic rhythm. The modern official holidays. Then we're going to dive deep into the heart of tradition with the Great Spring Festival. After that, we'll explore some other amazing legends from the lunar year. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together in the China of today. Let's go!
All right, let's kick things off with the Gregorian calendar. The easiest way to think about this one is as the official pulse of modern China. It's what dictates the rhythm of work, marks key political moments, and really anchors the country to the rest of the world.
So on this calendar, you've got the big three public holidays. First up is New Year's Day on January 1st. Now this is a pretty low-key one-day break. Why? Because the real, culturally massive New Year's celebration is still to come. That one's tied to the moon. Then you've got Labor Day in May, and the huge one, National Day in October. This kicks off what's called a Golden Week, where pretty much the entire country goes on vacation. It's a massive time for travel.
And beyond those main holidays, the calendar's also dotted with days that honor specific groups. You've got International Women's Day, Youth Day, Children's Day. You get the idea. But what's really interesting is this clear sign of globalization. In the big cities, you'll see massive celebrations for Christmas and Valentine's Day. But it's less about their original meaning and way more about being huge shopping events. They just kind of exist right alongside all the ancient traditions. Okay, so that's the civic calendar. Now let's switch gears and jump into the second one, the lunar calendar. And its absolute centerpiece, the main event, is the Spring Festival. We often call it Lunar New Year in the West. This is, without a doubt, the most important celebration of the entire year. It's all about family, renewal, and, well, warding off a little bit of ancient evil.
And to really get why the festival looks and sounds the way it does, you first have to know the story of a monster named Nián. The legend goes that this beast would come and attack villages every New Year's Eve, until the villagers figured out its weakness. It was terrified of three things: the color red, bright lights, and loud noises. And that right there, that's the key to understanding almost everything about this celebration.
See, the celebration isn't just one day, it's a whole season. The preparations start weeks in advance. It begins with sweeping the dust, which is basically a massive, deep clean of the house to get rid of any bad luck from the past year. Then comes the shopping spree for new clothes, gifts, and tons of food. And finally, the best part, decorating everything in that bright, bold red, the very color that scares away the Nián monster and welcomes in good fortune.
But at the absolute heart of it all is one single meal, the New Year's Eve reunion dinner. This meal is so important, so sacred, that it triggers what's called Chang'e, which is, and this is no exaggeration, the largest annual human migration on the entire planet. Hundreds of millions of people travel, sometimes for days on end, just to be home with their family for this one night. It's incredible.
And the food itself, wow. The menu is basically a form of poetry, full of hidden meanings. For example, you eat fish, which is pronounced yu, because it sounds just like the word for surplus or extra. You eat dumplings because they're shaped like ancient gold ingots, symbolizing wealth. And you eat rice cakes, or niangao, because it sounds like a higher year, hoping for promotions and progress. Literally, every single dish is a blessing for the new year.
So, the Spring Festival is definitely the biggest, but it's not the only one. The lunar calendar is absolutely packed with other important holidays, and just like the New Year, each one is born from a powerful legend that directly shapes how people celebrate today.
Let's take the Dragon Boat Festival, for instance.
This one happens right around the start of summer. It's this super vibrant, high-energy celebration of loyalty and patriotism. And it all comes from a story of tragic devotion.
Okay, so the legend is all about this guy named Qu Yuan. He was a beloved poet and a government minister. The story goes that when his kingdom was conquered, he was so filled with despair and loyalty that he drowned himself in a river. The local villagers were heartbroken. They raced out in their boats trying to find him, beating drums on the water to scare evil spirits and fish away from his body.
And here's where it gets amazing. That ancient story is still alive today. Those thrilling dragon boat races you see, they're a reenactment of the frantic search for Qu Yuan. And people eat Zongzi, these delicious sticky rice dumplings wrapped in leaves, which represent the rice the villagers threw into the water. It's literally history you can taste.
All right, next up we have the Mid-Autumn Festival. This one's celebrated under the brightest, fullest moon of the entire year. And just like the others, it's all about family reunion. But what's cool about this one is that it's defined by two totally different but equally powerful legends. So on one hand, you've got this beautiful, romantic myth of Chang'e, the moon goddess. It's a story all about love, sacrifice, and that feeling of longing for family when you're far away. But then, on the other hand, you have this totally different story, the legend of the mooncake uprising. It's a revolutionary tale where secret messages were hidden inside mooncakes to help overthrow a dynasty. So the festival is this incredible mix, celebrating both intimate family love and the power of people coming together for a cause. And the list goes on. The calendar is just filled with these stories. You have the Qingming Festival, which is for honoring ancestors by visiting and cleaning their tombs. There's the Qixi Festival, often called China's Valentine's Day, which celebrates the beautiful love story of a celestial weaver girl and a mortal cowherd. And then there's the Chang'e Festival, which is all about showing respect for elders, and it comes from a legend about climbing a mountain to avoid a disaster.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How do all these ancient, story-driven traditions actually fit into this super fast-paced digital world of modern China? How do these two completely different calendars really coexist day to day?
Well, the answer is this really fascinating blend of old and new. You see ancient rituals getting a modern tech upgrade, like the lucky red envelopes filled with cash, which are now sent instantly as digital payments on smartphone apps. You see global shopping holidays existing right next to these deep-rooted traditions. But no matter how much things change, the one thing that remains the anchor, the absolute core of it all, is the focus on family and community.
And really, that's the key takeaway here. It doesn't matter if it's a modern civic holiday set by the government or an ancient festival guided by the moon. At the end of the day, all of these celebrations are about reinforcing the core values that bind society together. Things like family unity, respect for your ancestors, community, and that deep, powerful connection to history.
Which kind of leads us with a final thought, doesn't it? As our own traditions evolved with technology and time, no matter where we are in the world, what are the core human needs we'll always find a way to celebrate? It always seems to come back to connection, to finding meaning, and to belonging. Maybe every holiday, everywhere, is just a different story we tell ourselves to honor those exact things. Thanks for joining me.